What's up everyone, Drew and Sherb from Misfit Athletics, talking today about taking your handstand push-ups from small sets to big sets. The overall concept that we're covering today is actually part of a bigger idea, that when you start within this sport, a lot of it's about getting your first muscle up, your first handstand push-up. But then we snap our fingers, competitive aspirations start to build, and you need to be able to go from 1 to 10 or even 1 to 30. So within the context of the handstand push-up, what we'd like to show you guys is what a lot of people do to get their first handstand push-ups, but then why they stay not loving handstand push-ups so much when they try to go to the bigger sets. So Sherb's gonna head over to the wall here, and he's gonna give himself a lot of room by putting his head and hands further away from the wall than he normally would. This position right here, with his butt on the wall, he's gonna be able to bring his legs nice and low and create as much momentum as he can to kick back up. Go ahead and do like 2 or 3 reps for me like that. We'll call it 2, do one more for me. As you can see, he's loading really far and he's able to create a lot of momentum to go up. But as you can also see, really long range of motion, probably not high enough to meet that open standard. Midline's gonna start to go. We pair he's holding his back. You pair this with some deadlifts or some power cleans or really anything from the floor, overhead squats, you name it. He's gonna have some serious issues with holding his midline together here. It's also really slow, a lot of time under tension to get there. And we completely understand when you're trying to get those first few reps, we go over to the parallettes, whatever it is that we need to sort of manipulate those positions. But one of the things we were just talking about before shooting this video is the idea that when we get people to go to that handstand push-up style that we ask for high rep, people are like, well, I can't generate as much force. It's sort of thinking about it like if you were doing a front squat, you jump every time, get way off the ground, exert as much force as you possibly can, full sprint into every single box jump, jump as high as you can, land on it. We need to be efficient. We need to be able to move through space with efficiency so that we can do as much as we can. So now, what do we do to get rid of that? How do we get better at this? Number one, we gotta get closer to the wall. So go ahead and kick up just into a handstand. He knows that if he comes down into this bottom position here, first thing he's gonna rest his tailbone. Go ahead and bring those legs back up for me. He's gonna rest his tailbone here and make sure that he's comfortable. Now, if he brings his lower half down now, our rule is that we can't see the pelvis tilt, okay? If the pelvis doesn't turn over and create that scenario where we need to go out and around, we're still safe. This position is gonna look different for different people depending on mobility. Now from here, one of the biggest things that we see when we're trying to make this change is people still do what we call the booty bump. From this position, they'll still throw their hips out and go out and around and kick up. Go ahead and try to do that for me, Sherb. He's too good, he can't do it. You guys get the idea. So instead of his butt coming out and around, he's gonna go ahead and load back up. And as a coach, I wanna be able to watch as this in slow motion opens first, creates the momentum, and then as he presses, he can engage his glutes and get his hips to come through. So go ahead and kick back up, come down. All right, go ahead and come down for a second. So we get the overall idea, right? We gotta get closer to the wall. We gotta make sure that that pelvis doesn't turn under, and we have to open the legs before the hips come through to create that nice handstand. Now he's gonna do 10 reps for us just like he would in a Metcon. He's gonna walk right over the wall, he's gonna kick up, and he's gonna do 10 reps. He might do 9. There it is. Ooh, 11. It's making up for lost time. So as you can see, looks a little bit easier. Time under tension is lower. But the biggest thing here is understanding that we're still skill building. We're completely changing a technique. So if the first time that you kick up and try this, it doesn't feel as good as something where you've logged thousands of reps with, that's natural, okay? So we always say it, walk before you run. Kick up in your Metcon, in your practice sessions, whatever it is, and do very manageable sets, and keep in mind where you're at, and each time you do it, add a few more. But this is going to be your journey from small sets to big sets. Give it a try. Good luck.